A controversial school board chairman is under investigation. Tonight we have the video police say shows how he cheated while trying to get his GED.
One man is seriously injured and the gunman still on the loose after a shooting in Nicholas County.
A man is facing charges after he's caught on video playing a prank on police.
This is WKYT News at 11.
Good evening to you. We have been enjoying a stretch of warm and dry weather, but it is about to end.
We have showers and storms making their way into the area. We begin with WKYT Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey with your no-wait forecast. Chris, it's not a washout, though, is it?
No, it really isn't. Next couple of days, as we were talking earlier today, guys, scattered is going to be the name of the rain game for Thursday and into Friday. We're looking at our Defender radar network. Southerly flow ahead of a potent storm system that is spiraling across the upper Mississippi Valley. We are out ahead of that. We're in the warm sector of it, and you look at your Defender radar network and across western Kentucky, scattering of showers. Unfortunately, a lot of that leading edge is drying up the farther east that it gets. Those drops are kind of teasing the Interstate 65 corridor. We have some crazy dry air that has been in place across central and eastern Kentucky, so a lot of this will actually go by the wayside heading into the overnight. Let's look at the future radar hour by hour through tomorrow morning. Maybe a sprinkle or two, but those lighter greens indicative of stuff that may not even be getting to the ground. We have to wait until late in the day into tomorrow night before we actually get in on some showers and thunderstorms that will have a better chance of impacting the weather across central and eastern Kentucky. When I come back at 11:13, new hour by hour forecast that does get a little active, guys, not only in the short term, but we'll show you a longer term rainfall forecast for the next few weeks. It gets busy.
All right, Chris, thanks so much. A Southeastern Kentucky School Board chairman first became the center of controversy when it was revealed he didn't have the high school diploma needed to qualify for the job. Now, Dexter Smith, head of the Knox County School Board, is under investigation after police say he cheated in an attempt to correct the problem.
Well, Sam and Amber, Kentucky State Police say they opened a perjury first-degree investigation 2 weeks ago, and it determined Knox County School Board Chairman Dexter Smith did not take the GED exam. Police say someone else took it for him.
So what I decided to do was go back and get my GED to kind of stop the talk and all this stuff.
2 weeks ago, in a tearful interview with the media, Dexter Smith said he got his GED to put an end to the controversy that he didn't have a valid high school diploma. But then Kentucky State Police opened an investigation into the validity of that GED.
We can now confirm that Mr. Smith did not take the GED exam himself. We have learned that an individual took that exam for him.
This is surveillance video from the Jackson County Adult Education Center where police allege someone took the exam for Smith. Knox County Superintendent Kelly Sprinkles says he was surprised to hear the allegations against Smith. He says he wants everyone in the school system to be viewed in a positive light.
It has been a distraction, but we really want to continue to focus on student achievement.
The question remains as to why Smith went to Jackson County to take the exam. Larry Bryson, the attorney for the Jackson County Board of Education, says the woman who allegedly took that exam for Smith was a longtime employee of the school system. Shortly after state police launched their investigation, the Jackson County Board of Education also opened an investigation on their end.
We began our investigation on Friday, and she subsequently retired this past Monday.
Now, attorney Larry Bryson says to his knowledge this is an isolated incident and it has not occurred in the past. Tonight, the GED testing service announced it has suspended all testing at the Jackson County Testing Center pending a full investigation. At the live desk, Monique Blair, WKYT.
Smith does not face any charges at this time. State police say they plan to present the case, though, to a Knox County grand jury.
Tonight, investigators are looking for the person who shot a man outside a home. That shooting happened around 7 on Gravel Road in Nicholas County. The victim had to be flown to UK hospital for his injuries. WKYT's Garrett Weimer is tracking the investigation in a story that's new at 11.
The Nicholas County Sheriff is not saying much at this point, but we do know the victim here was flown to the hospital with what investigators call serious injuries, and we also know the shooter is still on the loose. gravel road is a rural road that runs off Route 36 in Moorfield. Folks say it's normally a quiet road. The lights bathed the street in blue outside this home after deputies say a man here was shot several times. The victim's nephew tells me his uncle was alert and talking. Still, I'm told he was flown to UK with what the sheriff calls serious injuries. Investigators on scene were tight-lipped about the case, saying it's an ongoing investigation and they're working to pursue leads that could help them find the shooter. I did ask the sheriff if he could confirm that it was a drive-by shooting as we had heard. His answer, quote, pretty close to that. That's about all we know so far about the circumstances surrounding the shooting. And even though information is still limited at this point, it was enough to really shake up some of the people I talked to who live nearby here. In Nicholas County, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Right now, there is no word on the victim's condition. Police took 2 robbery suspects into custody tonight after their victim saw them as officers took him home. Lexington police say the victim flagged officers down at 7th and Pemberton around 5. Police tell us he reported 2 people pointed a gun at him and demanded money. They got away with a cell phone and cash. The suspects were arrested on unrelated charges and taken in for questioning.
2 people facing charges for breaking into a home. The Jessamine County Sheriff's Office says the victim was home when Justin Burcham forced his way through the back door. The sheriff says Burcham was not expecting anyone to be there and ended up leaving without taking anything. He's still charged with burglary, while Patricia Cash is charged with criminal facilitation of burglary. The sheriff says that she was outside waiting in a car. New tonight, police have identified remains found in Harlan County last month. State police say the remains are from Tommy Ingersoll. He had been missing for several days before police found his body in a wooded area in the Kaywood community. State police say Michael and Kayla Curtis kidnapped Ingersoll and murdered him. A grand jury indicted them on murder, kidnapping, and other charges. They're expected to enter pleas tomorrow morning.
Police have identified the victim of a shooting outside a Lincoln County home. It happened at a home on Powell Street in Stanford. Police say an intoxicated man threw a bottle at 29-year-old Joshua Dooley and fired a gun at him after Dooley threw the bottle back. He was taken to UK hospital. Police say it's surprising Dooley was the only one hurt.
We had 3 other parties in the house at the time. The bullets did pass through the exterior wall and missed a couple of the parties very closely.
Dooley suffered a wound to the abdomen but is expected to recover. Police have taken 29-year-old Benjamin Anderson into custody. He's charged with 2 counts of wanton endangerment as the investigation into that shooting continues. New tonight, a man faces charges for mooning police and dispatchers. Investigators in Clay County say Clinton Sizemore Jr. stopped in the road next to the Manchester Police Department, pulled down his pants and patted his backside. According to a police citation, he also made an obscene hand gesture before jumping back in his truck and driving off. He's been charged with indecent exposure, disorderly conduct, and reckless driving.
The state transportation cabinet plans to make changes to a road where several people, including a father and a son, have died in a car crash. The state will spend $2.5 million to straighten out a dangerous curve on Stamping Ground Road. Trevor Spencer and his 3-year-old son Skylar, along with Corey Wilcoxon, died in a crash at that spot in October of 2014. Spencer's fiancee and his father have been fighting for the change ever since.
The shock still hasn't wore off. His father and I we haven't even begun to grieve, kind of just threw ourselves in this project.
In 2015, a man died in a crash there just days after the state installed signs to warn drivers about the curve. The changes are expected to be complete by 2019. Richmond police are making sure a fallen officer will not soon be forgotten. On Friday, the department will hold a ceremony to rename their police building in honor of Officer Daniel Ellis. Ellis was shot and killed during a robbery investigation last November. The Richmond City Commission approved the plan. A memorial plaque will be unveiled during Friday's ceremony.
Today, Governor Bevin issued an executive order removing the chairman of the Kentucky Retirement Systems Board of Trustees. Former Governor Steve Beshear reappointed Thomas K. Elliott to the board last year. His term didn't expire until 2019. The board is meeting tomorrow, where they are expected to re-elect Elliott as chairman. The KRS executive director says the governor does not have the authority to remove Elliott. The Democratic and Republican presidential frontrunners don't have much time to enjoy their victories from last night in New York.
That's because the new round of voting next Tuesday includes 5 states, and as Craig Boswell shows us, their opponents believe there is still time to grab the nomination.
Donald Trump says he will be the Republican presidential nominee.
I love running against crooked Hillary. I love that. I mean, so much.
Trump won big in New York Tuesday and is now just 393 delegates short of clinching the nomination. Ted Cruz insists he will stop Trump from getting the magic number.
I'm not going to reach 1237, and Donald Trump is not going to reach 1237.
The Texas senator says the battle won't be settled until the convention in July.
And at that point, it is going to be a battle to see who can earn the support of a majority of the delegates elected by the people.
John Kasich believes an open convention is where he steps in.
Since I'm the only one that consistently beats Hillary in every single poll, and they lose in virtually every single poll, I think we'll have a good future here at the convention.
For the Democrats seeking the White House, the 5 states voting next Tuesday add up to more than 460 delegates. Hillary Clinton met with mothers of gun violence victims in Philadelphia Wednesday.
We've been talking about change for centuries. Let's get a woman in the White House. That's a real change.
A new Monmouth University poll shows her with a 13-point lead over Bernie Sanders in the Keystone State. Craig Boswell, CBS News, the White House.
With Hillary Clinton's big win in New York on Tuesday, she needs about 30% of the remaining delegates to lock up that Democratic nomination. Authorities are calling it the longest drug tunnel between California and Mexico. The amazing amount of drugs they seized after finding it ahead.
A Kentucky attraction has a new owner. We'll tell you about plans for Funtown Mountain after it was bought at auction. Losing a leg can be devastating, but choosing to stand can be life-changing.
I'm alive, and that's all that matters.
A lesson in adapting dreams when life takes an unexpected turn, Thursday at 6 on WKYT.
Kentucky mornings start here. Breaking and overnight news, weather to plan your day, plus traffic you can take with you. Make WKYT This Morning part of your Kentucky morning. Weekdays from 4:30 to 7 on WKYT.
If you've been injured in an accident, your injuries can last a long time, even a lifetime. Visit forthepeople.com. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
At Stanley Steamer, we go beyond carpet cleaning. We're also experts at cleaning tile and ground. Our high-pressure equipment extracts dirt powerfully, yet safely, with far better results than mopping. We can even seal or recolor your ground for a fresh look. Call now about our tile cleaning special.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer gets your home cleaner.
Kentucky Lottery's Keno, the exciting way to have fun with your friends every 5 minutes.
Fueling imagination.
Funding education.
James Motor, your local Mercedes-Benz and Sprinter dealer.
Nominate your favorite teacher for Teacher of the Year. They could win a $1,000 gift card, and you could win a $500 gift card. Go to WKYT.com/teacher.
Neil Huffman Honda of Frankfort. Visit our website at huffmanhondafrankfurt.com/TV.
Now, your hour-by-hour forecast with Chief Meteorologist Chris Bailey.
Boy, it's a warm evening out there. Thermometers still 70 degrees or better in much of central and eastern Kentucky. So if you've got the AC cranking out there this evening into the overnight, yeah, I can understand that. Look at the numbers. 71 Lexington, 73 into Jackson and Moorhead. We are into the upper 60s across many areas. 72 Frankfort, it's 75 into Prestonsburg. That's ridiculous for this late evening hour in the middle of April. Defender Radar Network, Louisville metro area getting in on a little light rain. That stuff, though, is heading more toward the north than it is toward the east. And you notice the farther south you get with that little band, it starts to dry up a little bit. We go out into western Kentucky. Now some showers and thunderstorms are beginning to develop here on that strong southwesterly wind flow that continues to come at us. That will be the case tomorrow. Tomorrow's one of those days where if you have something to do outdoors, I don't want you to cancel any plans. It's not going to rain all day. Some of you may not see a drop of rain until tomorrow night. Mid-70s for a high, mix of sun and clouds, and at any point there is a chance for a shower or a thunderstorm. Let me show you what I mean by that. 7 o'clock tomorrow morning on the new Hour by Hour. A little spot of green here or there. Then we break out into a mix of sun and clouds. Then we're right back into a little spot of some green showing up. That's where the computer model thinks a little shower or thunderstorm will try to fire up. Notice how at 8 o'clock tomorrow evening we see a little better coverage of those showers and storms. That will carry us through 11 tomorrow night and really into the start of our Friday. We go through the rest of your Friday. It's a cooler wind that blows. I'm trying to be optimistic with a 70-degree high temperature. We may not make it out of the 60s, though, for your Friday high, with a mix of sun and clouds and a shower or a thunderstorm at any point. Friday evening, cooler winds continue to blow. We're into the 40s when you wake up on Saturday morning. Maybe some low 40s northeastern Kentucky, but boy, that's going to set the stage for another spectacular weather day. Upper 60s to low 70s for our Saturday across the entire region. Last night we talked about how the models were kind of going back and forth a little bit. One run would show light rain, another run would have a pocket of some heavier rains. Well, there's some holes in the rainfall totals over the next few days. 1/4 of an inch, maybe pushing it for some. 1/2 to 1 inch, maybe, if you get under a stronger thunderstorm. Not expecting severe weather, by the way. I've been really trying to hawk a pattern over the next few weeks that could produce some heavier rains from the Mississippi Valley toward the Ohio Valley. We're going to keep looking at this updated 10-day rainfall map from a computer model, and boy, look at that. It is really, over the next week to 10 days, trying to target the Bluegrass State and point southwest for some heavier rains, and we get into that pattern after a nice weekend. That would start on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. One of those patterns, guys, to where you can get some daily rounds of showers and storms. Next week we'll have a lot more humidity into the mix than what we're seeing out there this week.
That sounds very summer-like,
yeah,
doesn't it?
It's going to get more of a typical May kind of feel and look about it next week.
All right, Chris, thank you.
You bet.
A Central Kentucky EMS service is changing its policy for patients in cardiac arrest.
The reason emergency responders will wait longer to take patients to the hospital ahead.
It's an all-systems-go weekend at Green's Toyota of Lexington during their 48-hour sales explosion. This weekend only, 0% financing on 10 different new Toyota models, including new 2016 Camry, Corolla, RAV4, and RAV4 Hybrid, with up to $2,000 in customer cash available on select models, and save up to $5,000 off MSRP on new Toyotas with our Green Saver coupon. Hurry in to Kentucky's #1 Toyota dealer, Green's Toyota.
Great people, great cars, think Greens.
Get ready for Kroger's Kentucky Derby Festival, April 28th through Derby Eve, and be a part of America's greatest community festival with 9 full days of local and national act concerts, the infamous Chow Wagon, various festival events, and more. Admission is free with a 2016 Pegasus pen, $5 at your neighborhood Kroger, and $7 at events.
Hurry into Kroger and save on pork. Get boneless chops, back ribs, or tenderloin for $2.99 a pound. And Kroger cheese is just $1.88 at Kroger.
Toyota on Nicholasville's proud to present our all-new rewards program. Now rewarding points for almost everything. Service your Toyota? Points. New tires? Points. Visit the cafe? Points. Take a test drive? Points. Buy a Toyota? Lots of points. Redeem your points for service appointments, merchandise, a new car, and more. Check out the all-new rewards program at Toyota Nicholasville. The big Toyota store. Where price sells cars. ToyotaOnNicholasville.com. Sing the jingle. Points.
I love grocery shopping at Kroger, but sometimes life gets busy.
So I use ClickList. It's easy. I just order online. And with thousands of great items and fresh food to choose from,
I can get what I want the way I want it, then pick up my order at the store without ever leaving my car.
and for me, that's a game changer.
Order online, pick up curbside at store. We think you're gonna love ClickList. Try it now at Kroger.com/ClickList.
At Paul Miller Ford, we want all our customers to drive happy.
I certainly would recommend Paul Miller to friends and family. The staff and the service is exceptional.
Oh, I love it.
That Eagle booth is really nice.
That's why we're honored to win our 3rd Ford President's Award for Customer Satisfaction.
This one I buy now will be my 4th F-150.
Come visit our President's Award sales event and get 0% financing for 60 months on Ford F-150s like Larry's. Point, click, drive at paulmillerford.com.
Keep up with the latest news on WKYT.com. Join the conversation on Twitter and become a part of the WKYT Facebook family.
Authorities in California have uncovered what they call the longest drug tunnel on the state's border with Mexico.
Investigators found more than a ton of cocaine and 7 tons of marijuana in the half-mile-long tunnel. They say it's much more sophisticated than it looks, with ventilation, a series of lights, and other equipment.
On the Mexico side of the border, it is equipped with a commercial large elevator, an elevator that I would estimate could hold 8 to 10 people.
Drug smugglers use a dumpster to hide the tunnel and load up drugs. So far, 6 people have been arrested. Investigators say the drugs seized are worth nearly $30 million.
A Northern Kentucky murder case will be the focus of a 48 Hours on CBS this weekend. The show will examine the case against Shayna Hubers in back-to-back episodes on Saturday. A jury convicted Hubers of killing her boyfriend, Ryan Poston, in Campbell County back in 2012. She's asked for a new trial because her lawyers claim one of the members of the jury did not disclose he was a convicted felon. You can see 48 Hours beginning at 10 Saturday night right here on WKYT.
Next time you call 911 in Frankfort for a medical emergency, you may not get to the hospital as fast as you think. Frankfort Fire and EMS is changing its policy for treating patients in cardiac arrest. They plan to stay longer at the scene where they will administer CPR. They say the new protocol will help them save more lives.
We have found that by just putting a patient, loading them up and moving to the ambulance, research again has shown that we have actually not done the proper amount of compressions, and there are actually long periods of time where compression is not being done at all, chest compressions for the patient in the process of moving to the ambulance. Also, once in transport, EMS crews are standing up, they're not secured.
Frankfort Fire and EMS says it knows there will be concerns. They are training officers at each station how to effectively explain to family members what's going on. Doctors have given her just weeks to live, but a Jessamine County teen isn't giving up without a fight. 16-year-old Michaela Correll is battling an aggressive form of brain cancer. She was first diagnosed as a child, but has lived far beyond what doctors predicted. While she's beaten the odds before, doctors say now there's not much more they can do.
8.5 years ago, they gave us a month to a year to live. And we've overcome those odds. Now they're going to try us again. So we're going to fight again.
The Corrells have planned to make the most out of the time Michaela has left. She'll be attending prom on Saturday before the family heads to the beach next week. They have set up a GoFundMe to help with medical and funeral expenses. We'll have a link for you on WKYT.com.
A Western Kentucky attraction has a new owner tonight. David Ray Frogette, in partnership with a development from Chicago, bought Funtown Mountain in Barron County during an auction today. Frogette has big plans for the park, including cabins, an indoor water park, and amusement park. In all, the changes could cost up to $20 million.
I remember coming here as a kid, you know, and we're going to aim to make it into something, you know, that people will have memories of and be something clean and decent.
Frogette grew up in Greene and Metcalfe counties. He recently acquired 99.1 The Hoss in Edmonton, and he and his wife own Frogette's South 65 Entertainment in Barron County. They're busy folks.
Yeah.
Brian's joined us tonight.
Yeah, and UK softball is rolling right along.
Yeah, improving to 20-1 on the road, and now it's on to Alabama. UK football, UK baseball also on the way. And where would Marcus Lee get drafted? He is heading to the NBA draft. Sports is on the way.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on Mix 94.5.
If you have questions about overtime violations or the wage and hour laws in our state, visit forthepeople.com to learn more. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Hey, how are you? Good.
I just got your text.
Yeah, that says checkout is great.
Treat your family to fresh ground chuck for $2.49 a pound. And packages of raspberries or blackberries are 3 for $5. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
May 3rd and 4th, EKU Center for the Arts. Get tickets at EKUcenter.com.
Have something that needs investigating? Email us or call the WKYT Investigates tip line.
What we do is not about sickness. It's about living. All of life's moments, big and small. Each triumph and challenge. Because you were made to live and live well. And we're here to make sure you do. Let us show you how care is supposed to be. Lexington Clinic. Your doctors for life.
Want to fill your garage with the best value brand in America? Honda's got it during Honda's Dream Garage Sales Event. Get a brand new 2016 CR-V, the #1 selling SUV, just $229 a month. Or drive with 0 down, 0 security, and 0 first month's payment. The 2016 CR-V comes fully loaded with available Honda Lane Watch, brake assist, and more. Just $229 a month or 0 due at signing. Honda's got it at your Central Kentucky Honda dealers.
Get ready for Kroger's Kentucky Derby Festival, April 28th through Derby Eve, and be a part of America's greatest community festival with 9 full days of local and national act concerts, the infamous Chow Wagon, various festival events, and more. Admission is free with a 2016 Pegasus pen, $5 at your neighborhood Kroger, and $7 at events.
Hurry into Kroger and save on pork. Get boneless chops, back ribs, or tenderloin for $2.99 a pound. And Kroger cheese is just $1.88 at Kroger.
Hey, honey. You remember to lock the Buick, right?
Of course I do. I'd never forget that. The Buick Remote Link app, now available in every Buick.
You closed all the apartment windows, too.
Come on. Really?
You're the best.
Current lessees, switch to Buick and get this low-mileage lease on this 2016 Encore for around $189 per month. Visit your Bluegrass Buick dealer today.
Friday night's Mega Millions jackpot is $97 million.
Tyler Eulis, Jamal Murray, Skal Labissiere all declaring for the NBA draft, and they hired agents, so that means they're not coming back. Today, Marcus Lee, he also gave his intention. The 6'9 junior telling ESPN he has every intention of leaving UK for the draft, but he has not hired an agent. He's not going to, which would leave the door open to come back to Kentucky for one more year. My plan is to go to the NBA. That's the only goal, Lee said. ESPN quoting NBA sources who say Lee is probably a second-round pick. Lee also told ESPN's Jeff Goodman he wants people to know he's serious about entering the draft, and Lee said that he talked to John Calipari about making the move. He also said feedback from the NBA will be important, but stopped short of saying that he had to be taken with a certain pick. Doesn't necessarily depend on the actual number they project for me, Lee said. The football Wildcats are now in the offseason, and the spring game will be the last time we see the Cats for several months. The defense had its bright spots on Saturday, especially linebacker Denzel Ware, 15 tackles, four would-be sacks, and he carries the lofty expectations and comparisons to Bud Dupree and Zadarius Smith.
I mean, I had no feeling. You know, they came here and worked hard, and they earned that. You know what I mean? They earned everything. You know, with Kentucky's program, they earned that. You know, so I mean, if they want to compare me to Bud, you know, I'm gonna do my best to keep the comparisons. I don't look at it like that. You know what I mean? They earned all that, so I'm not feeling no type of way about it. I just feel like, hey, you want to compare me to Bud Dupree and Z? Hey, I'm gonna take it as a compliment, and I'm gonna just keep working harder. You know, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to be better than one another. So I just want to be remembered just like they've been remembered by the time my time is up here.
Last night, UK lost 7-6 to Louisville in baseball, but Wildcat outfielders Storm Wilson, Marcus Carson, they made 2 highlight reel catches you probably won't see again in your lifetime from these guys. One was number 1, one was number 4 in the ESPN Top 10. In case you missed it, let's go back to last night. 3rd inning, Luke Becker, Tristan Pompey, they will collide violently in the outfield. Wilson, though, makes the diving grab to prevent a hit. Then in the 7th inning, Louisville was looking to tie it up, but little man Marcus Carson scales the wall, robbing Brennan McKay of a home run, and not bad for a guy who's just 5'7".
He's 5'8". Give him that. No, I was telling everybody I thought that was a better catch than mine. You know, he actually had to show some athleticism. I was just in the right place. So, yeah, it was great. I was excited for him. That was awesome. You know, it was really cool being both of us being on SportsCenter. You know, that's a good time for us. So.
In the fall and stuff, we'll do like a drill where we just like work on like wall drills and like just feeling for the wall. And we actually like did like a couple of drills where we was robbing home runs. And our wall's a little bit taller than Louisville's, but so I guess it might have helped a little bit yesterday.
Great job, guys. Matinee at the ballpark for the Reds and Rockies today. Bats were on fire. Bottom of the 2nd, Jay Bruce. That's high and deep to right center. His 4th of the year, a 2-run homer. Reds up 2-0. Then it's the Butler Bear, Adam Duvall. He jumps on this offering and he hits his name up on the scoreboard. Solo shot. Reds up 3-0. We would go to the bottom of the 9th. 5 infielders for the Rockies, but Mr. Barnhart comes through, drives it to right. That's your game winner, 6-5. Reds get the win. An attendance record of more than 1,300 tonight for the Lady Hilltoppers and the 11th ranked UK softball team. Top of the 4th, runners on 1st and 2nd. Brooklyn Hines picks up the RBI single, driving in Maisie Steed, 1-0 Cats. Next batter, Brianna Ray, grounder to 2nd. Western tries to get the out at home. The throw is wild. Abby Cheek scores. So does Hines, who beats the tag. But the big blow of the inning coming from Jenny Schaefer. The freshman catcher crushes one to left. A 2-run homer, 5-0 Kentucky. And that would be the final. Megan Prince improves to 17-3 on the year. That's sports. We'll be right back.
It's not just a good idea, it's the law. Columbia Gas of Kentucky.
Nominate your favorite teacher for Teacher of the Year. They could win a $1,000 gift card, and you could win a $500 gift card. Go to WKYT.com/teacher.
Some things are simply impossible to ignore. The strikingly designed Lexus NX Turbo and Hybrid, the SUV that dares to go beyond utility. Lease the 2016 NX 200 Turbo for $349 a month for 36 months. See your Lexus dealer.
Spend an evening with James Taylor and his all-star band. The American icon is back on tour. April 24th, Rupp Arena. The multiple Grammy Award-winning James Taylor and a night full of his biggest hits. Tickets on sale now at Ticketmaster. James Taylor, another Beaver production.
Stanley Steamer is the first carpet cleaning service certified asthma and allergy friendly. It's our new standard of clean. Now get 3 rooms of carpet cleaned, just $99.
Call 1-800-STEAMER. Stanley Steamer, your certified cleaner.
Insurance companies demand prompt and full payment of your premiums. Shouldn't you receive prompt and full payment of your claims? When you don't, you know who to call. Morgan & Morgan, for the people.
Thank you for the cereal.
The crayons made a big difference.
May not seem like much to you,
but it means the world to us.
Kroger stores are increasing local community rewards donations to $3.6 million, and you can help decide where that money goes. Sign up at Kroger.com/community rewards and link your Plus card to the local group that matters most to you.
When we all join together, there's nothing we can't do. Great food, low prices at Kroger.
Kentucky's 40th Annual Shriners Hillbilly Days Festival, April 21st through 23rd in Pikeville, Kentucky. 3 live stages of music, carnival rides, 300 vendors, a car show, and the Shriners Parade Saturday. The 40th Annual Hillbilly Days Festival, April 21st through 23rd in Pikeville, Kentucky.
Do you need a little cha-ching?
We'll buy your vehicle right here at Courtesy.
No matter what make, model, or condition, we'll beat any written offer by $300.
So bring your vehicle and your title to Courtesy's Car Buying Center.
And we'll show you the money.
And that's what we like to call...
Sweet!
Once through, we'll stop Donald Trump.
See, Ted Cruz too?
He ignored my pape.
Who?
My pape.
Tape?
Pape, my pape. The conservative running for Congress who helped Trump build the wall.
Will this Mike Pape help Ted Cruz repeal Obamacare?
See?
We must stop Mike Pape. Vámonos!
I'm Mike Pape, and I approve this message because no one will stop me from standing up for you.
Get WKYT news and weather updates on 100.1 WKQQ.
Might see a little bit of rain tomorrow.
Yeah, isolated shower, thunderstorm action, nothing too widespread.
All right, be safe, and we'll see you here tomorrow.